Okay, here's how to beat Major General Ezra Shields and his metal armor mech. This fight is a two-phase fight, and what I'm going to show you here, the method, is how to do it to earn the version 2 boss weapon at the end, so the correct way to get the best weapon from the fight. So we'll just enter the arena. Ezra Shields will be in his metal armor, which falls down the middle. You can get a couple of hits on it right from the start, but immediately jump away because it will probably light you up like that. There's a couple of different weapons the tank uses. It has a beam attack, it has a minigun, it has a flamethrower, and if you get near the legs or if you're in front of the legs, it can kick you across the map. The kicks don't really do a lot of damage, but they do send you flying across the map, and that's a bit troublesome since the other weapons he can hit you with then a lot easier, especially because it knocks you down. So what you can see I'm doing here is I'm just circling around, trying to get to the side or behind his legs if I can to get a couple of hits in. In order to get the version 2 weapon, you want to break the armor on its legs, and pretty much it's probably not something you really need to know because it's pretty much all you're going to be attacking anyway, but you have to break the armor on both legs in this phase, so that is your priority. Breaking them doesn't require charged attacks or anything like that, so you can just hit at them like I'm doing here. And the whole process for this entire phase, which is the hardest phase of the fight, is all about just running around and jumping in and getting hits on those legs when you can, and then getting out. So you'll see that he did a kick then, so I made sure to jump through behind him. I always make sure that I do 2 or 3 hits at most and then get out. When he aims that minigun down at his feet, he tends to obliterate you pretty quickly and knock you down. So he's going to kick because I'm in front. So long as you keep moving, even if his minigun or his flamethrower hit you, it doesn't really hurt you that much, so long as you don't get hit too much. You just don't want to be caught at the base of his legs when he points the minigun down or he does his flame attack. So just keep chipping away at him. There's not really much mechanically to this part. You want to just be in for a couple of hits and then out before he does that with the minigun. So nice and simple, but now Major General Ezra Shields will launch out of the mech. This is also, I think this phase is actually even easier than that one, but what you have to do is, and it's quite important to do this if you want to get the version 2 weapon, oh I took a big hit there, is you want to destroy the flamethrower on the broken metal armor. That flamethrower will send out a lot of area of effect damage that can damage Major General Ezra Shields, and you don't want him to take any damage at all because you want to put all of the damage on his arm, on his weapon arm, to get his weapon. So you want to keep coming in and taking shots at that flamethrower to destroy it. Now, it takes a fair bit to do, and sometimes vertical strikes miss like that, so I recommend doing horizontal strikes actually. And he's always on your case, so only ever try to do 1 or 2 shots on the flamethrower when you do get to it. Now, Major General Ezra Shields has a big jumping slam attack that's unblockable. When he does that, that's the best time to jump in and try and hit the flamethrower. You can also hit the flamethrower with the drone, which I did at the start to try and chip away at some of its health. So you can see its health there is now just less than half. So there's his slam attack. When he does that, it's a good chance to get in and hit the flamethrower. I was too far away to do it then, but that vertical strike worked pretty well. But you don't want to stay near it either, because if it fires, it can hit him. You pretty much want to try and lure him away, but you can circle around the metal armor so long as you're conscious not to keep him near the flamethrower. He's taken some damage, but that's okay. We just don't want him to take too much damage. Alright, it's destroyed, so now we can focus on him, and he's actually quite easy. You want to focus on his right arm. However, what you don't want to do is you don't want to block him. He can be blocked. You'll notice I don't have the directional blocker thing implant on. And the reason is, whilst he can be blocked, blocking him is pretty tricky anyway, but whilst he can be blocked, blocking him will stun him, and if he's stunned and the beam weapon on the metal armor fires, it can hit him and take a bit of damage off him. And you can see already the armor on his arm isn't down that much, or it's pretty much in time with his health. If he starts taking damage to the rest of his body from the beam weapon, that can upset your run to try and get the version 2 weapon. So you're way better off just getting in 2 hits and constantly dodging his attacks, jumping in when he finishes his combo round and getting in 2 attacks. And that way, by moving around as well, you keep yourself avoiding that beam weapon. You can hear the beam weapon build up, and that's when you need to dodge. There's a sound that gives you a warning that it's going to fire. There it is there. You can hear it building up. That's his big leaping attack. You can't block that, so don't try. Just time avoiding it before he lands. And yeah, this is how you complete him. You just continually do this, chipping away, waiting for the prompt to say you can cut off his limb. And this way, you avoid all of his attacks, you avoid being hit by the beam weapon, and you avoid him getting hit by it too if you don't block him and stun him. So this fight mechanically is actually quite simple once you know it, and quite easy to complete. Now what I would suggest, actually at this point there's a really good cutscene coming up. I'm going to cut away from that. I don't want to spoil that scene for you. Alright, that's the cutscene cut away from. We'll just take a quick look at the weapon that we got from him, which... that's the General's A.C.U version 2 punching gloves. I don't think they're anything special. They don't have any particularly great perks to them, but, you know, if you're collecting weapons, then you're going to want them. So we'll equip them and just have a quick look at them. You don't really need a build for this fight. It's all about just pretty much dodging in and out and keeping your distance and getting in hits where you can. But if you're interested in seeing the build that I used when I did the fight, I'll put a complete list of all the implants and gear I'm wearing in the description of the video. Okay, well I hope that helps you out, guys. Until the next boss fight, bye for now.